If you spend any time on social media seeking to grow your business, you've seen this man. If you're not familiar, meet Myron Golden, a seasoned business consultant who is known for teaching high-level entrepreneurs how to create high-ticket offers, some of which go on to have million-dollar days. His YouTube channel has been exploding. It's no surprise that his expertise in sales and marketing has not only propelled businesses to reach new heights, but has inspired a generation of entrepreneurs to redefine success on their own terms. Today we're tuning into the story of Dr. Stan Harris, or Dr. Breakthrough as he's called, and how he introduced Myron to the Bible, martial arts, and how they influence each other to become the giants they are today.
The guy who led me to Christ, Dr. Stan Harris.
Because Dr. Stan Harris,
Dr. Breakthrough, you know that.
he's the message that he brings. That's why we call him Dr. Breakthrough. He'll teach you methods and techniques that can help you get unstuck, that can take your life to the next level.
Who is Dr. Stan Harris? He's a 10th degree black belt, author, life strategist, and international breakthrough speaker who's spoken in all 50 states and 28 countries. He's a man of God, a powerhouse, a big inspiration to me, and if you're ready to be inspired, you found the right video. Here is Dr. Breakthrough.
I learned that you were the man who introduced Myron to the Bible
Yes.
and martial arts.
Yes.
And because
preaching and all that.
and preaching.
And I was even his teacher at Bible college, his professor. And I jokingly say he quit, but we forgave him because he made millions. But yeah, we were 16 when we met. And they told him, I said, man, you got to, because he loved martial arts. They said, man, there's this champion guy, but he's a Christian though. So mine's like, I don't want to hear that Christian stuff, but I love martial arts. And so he said, let's meet. And as a matter of fact, I jokingly, we were one time, back then we would do what's called toe to toe. And so a guy would put their toe up and we would do body punches until somebody gave up. And so they were like, yeah, but they were like, you're just a Christian guy here. And so they pitted me and Myron together. And so and I just stopped and opened up like that. And so he's punching hitting me in the stomach. He stops and like, what? Well, by the grace of God, I've been hit a million times, never been hurt. Now, but anyway, and he stopped and looked like that. And when he did, I hit it. They kind of knocked him over the banister.
Oh man!
But anyway, we developed a friendship, and so I was able to lead him to Christ, and then, like I said, martial arts instructor, and then teach him in preaching and different things that have influence. And he just grew. I mean, a guy who just grew. And then in college, like I said, but he ended up quitting. But then he went on and made millions and millions of dollars. And he would always say to me, he said, Doc, I paid thousands of dollars to go to seminars to learn about business. He said, you do this stuff naturally. He said, if you ever did business, you'd be successful in it. I said, nah. I said, you got the business mind. Let me just do the preaching and the martial arts stuff, right? And then one day he said, well, if people like you that have, you have good influence with people, he said, but you can only influence them when they come to church. He said, we got a question for you. I said, yes. He sees Myron slick at this. He said, do people go to church more often? Are they in church or out of church more? I said, well, out of church. So you want to have people that don't have integrity influence people when you could be doing it? I was like, and he sent me a book called Bendito, the greatest salesman in the world. And I was mad at him. Listen, dude, I was mad. Because he would always say, man, you're one of the great best salesmen. I was like, I'm not a salesman, I'm a minister. Yeah. He said, no, he said, but it's still selling. I'm like, no, I'm just loving people. He said, it's selling, bro. And so he bought this book for me, and I was mad. Like, why would he buy me a book on sales? I don't like it. It sat on my shelf for 2 years. That's why I love books. Finally, one day, it's like, wait a minute, the guy bought it for you. Why don't you just read it?
Yeah, why not?
Man, I want an airplane going to speak somewhere, reading the book, and all of a sudden, it hit, man, I break down in tears, like uncontrollable tears.
Over the book, see?
Because of what the book was talking about and teaching me, and I was like, I've been against this all my life because I heard somebody was against it, and I don't, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm like, this, literally, I mean, I'm missing out on serving people.
Yeah.
And I always going to love people. Well, this is the way you love them. And even in the book of Proverbs, chapter 11:26, he that withholdeth the corn of people shall curse him, but blessing shall be upon the head of him that selleth it. Not giveth away. I was used to giving everything away. No, selleth it. I'm like, it's right there in the Bible. So that totally changed my life. So I tell people, I led him to Christ, mentored him in martial arts, mentored him in Bible college. Now he mentors me in business.
Yeah. And so now how you doing in business? You're a millionaire now too?
Yes, sir. We've hit that. Matter of fact, one business we started, and within 5 months we were making $100,000 a month. So I do a lot in the home-based business, network marketing space, and of course speaking. But yes, sir. And then the team that I built to 1.5 million, we were making like $22,000 days. So as a matter of fact, I pulled in to preach at a church in Arkansas, and I said, Pastor, look at my back office, look at the numbers. And so he looked. I said, write it down. And then the next day I said, now look at it. And I said, now tell me how much I made since yesterday. He said, this can't be right. I said, you wrote it down, right? He said, $22,890-something. I said, so I don't need an offering from the church. I'm going to give you an offering.
Oh, my God.
So I want to help also empower preachers. See, Paul made tents. So to be able to have money where you don't have to be dependent on people for money, right? And so, but there's a lot of stuff that I used to believe wrong about money. Yeah, Myron, the same thing. We had to unlearn that stuff, you know? So,
What's one of the biggest things you had to unlearn about money?
One of the biggest things I had to unlearn about money was that money is not evil, right? The Bible says it's the love of money that's the root of all evil. But the way I heard it is money is the root of all evil. No, it's the love of money. And now I realize the lack of money is the manifestation of evil.
Yeah.
The man trying to break in my house is not the man that has all the money he needs, right? And then I found out in the book of Ecclesiastes 9, it talks about a man who was poor, but he had enough wisdom and he was trying to help the city. The city was in trouble. They didn't want to listen to him because he was poor. And finally, they listened to him. It saved the city. And then the Bible says, and they forgot about it. It says, no man remembered that same poor man. The first it said there was a wise poor man. Then it said poor man. So it dawned on me, wait a minute, I'm limiting my influence if I don't have money. So you probably heard people say, people don't care how much you
know
how much you care. Well, Dr. Breakthrough got another one. You ready for this one?
I'm ready.
People don't care how much you know until they know how much you make. So there's people
that's true.
It is.
That
See, there's
is
people
true.
that listen to Myron because the money he talks about he's making now.
They
didn't listen to him before.
But
now they got to. But my life is all about igniting and reigniting a passion in people for life, for love, for the Lord, and for business. And so what I say is I educate, elevate, and empower people to break through any barrier that would hinder their success. And I do that by empowering them to break to the best version, or at least a better version of themselves. So my story is simple. I was a mess, and now in the martial arts, I'm a Grand Master, which is a 10th degree black belt. There's about 200 of us in the world, and I'm blessed to be one of them.
We're a 10th degree black belt?
Yes, sir, by the grace of God, yes. So Ishinru Karate, and then I started my own style, Crescendo. But I got started in martial arts because, and this is one thing I teach people, within your pain is hidden power. So whenever you go through pain in life, there's something in that you can use, that pain. See, pain and adversity causes some men to break, it causes others to break records. So I decided to be a record breaker, right? So as a 6-year-old boy, I was out in the middle of a field playing. A gang of teenagers came my way. Grew up in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And I froze in my tracks. Now, I'm a 6-year-old boy. These are teenagers. Guy just hits me in the stomach. Bam! Knocks the air out of me. I'm like, and I'm a 6.
At 6?
At 6, right? I'm a 6-year-old boy. And I'm crying out, help. And I'm trying to, you can't breathe and you try, And so literally I'm a 6-year-old boy. They're teenagers. They're beating all over me. And one guy picks me up and slams me on the ground. And then they start stomping on me like I'm an ant or a roach, kicking all over me. And I'm bleeding from everywhere you can bleed. I'm crying out for help. And of course, nobody stopped to help. And one guy flipped me over on my back while I'm face up, took a great big old bucket of tar, poured it on my face, poured it on my body, took a bunch of feathers, they threw them on me, and they left me there. Now, thank God somebody finally found me, rushed me to the hospital. But I just remember as a little kid saying, I'm going to learn how to protect myself. What happened to me, I'm going to get them back. My dad had left at 3. I'd been suicidal, tried to commit suicide, by the way, on 2 occasions before I was even 12 years of age. Went through physical abuse and verbal abuse and sexual abuse and obviously racial abuse, right? And so I always tell people my life was a mess. But the key is every master that a person sees was once a mess. Therefore, every mess can one day be a master. And when a mess becomes a master, you now have a message that if you market properly to the masses, you can make millions. And that's my story. So I just love, I'm also a minister, so I've been blessed. I've preached in all 50 states, 28 countries. And, I've been blessed to be paid as much as $1,000 a minute, right? And these are things that I never even dreamed I could do years ago. And so that's what I love doing what I do now. And that is empowering people. Like, for instance, I say I aspire and desire to inspire breakthroughs even after I've expired. So that this stuff could happen to this little poor boy from the ghetto, from the hood, Like I said, dad left when I was 3, never came home, never called, never sent mom a dime, right? Never even thought I'd make it out of high school, much less graduate, top of my class, end up going to college, postgraduate work, became a college professor, right? Myron Golden was one of my students in college, right? So, and now, like I said, travel all over the world and just, again, loving people. And that's what it's all about. And I'll do a lot of home-based business training, you know, and so we've been blessed to be the top of 7 different companies in the network marketing arena. And one company, they hired me to be their international training director. And then I said, hey, I like what you're doing. Do you mind if I recruit some people? They're like, well, of course not. We don't mind. So I personally, over a 6.5-year period, recruited 988 people. And that blossomed into 1.5 million people.
You recruited 988 and 1,000 people?
Yes. And that, but the beautiful thing is it duplicated and blossomed into 1.5 million people. Now, in the company, there was only 2.2 million in the whole company. I was not the master distributor. 1.5 million was on my team. So people kept saying, man, what are you doing? So I wrote a book, How to Build a Big Team Fast, teaching people how, because again, if you can increase your leadership skills, right? And if you can increase your ability to move people, and more importantly, help people to move and believe they can do more than they could do. Because everything I'm doing now, I didn't think I could do it. I thought it was impossible, right? Yeah. And so just like first time I saw a guy do something in martial arts, I thought, man, that's impossible. I could never break anything, right? Yeah. And now I lay on the bed of nails, put 100 pounds of bricks in my stomach. Matter of fact, several times Myron, in the earlier days, especially would travel with me, and I would use him to take the sledgehammer, 18-pound sledgehammer, and break the bricks off my stomach while I'm laying on the razor-sharp bed of nails. Well, then I'd jump up to speak and everybody like, hey, man, whatever you say, right? So we used the martial arts. I don't know if you probably heard of the power team, but we were like the one-man power team 20 years before they ever came out. So when I speak for businesses, churches, groups, again, I just love empowering people, man. And again, I appreciate what you're doing because, again, so many people, they don't know. See, I didn't know there was people out here like this, right? And when I got exposed to those people, I was like, wait a minute, maybe if I learned what they learned, maybe I could do it. Because first I was like, I can't. And I always give people a little poem. Can I give your audience a poem?
Oh, please, please.
See, if you think you are beaten, you are. And if you think you dare not, you won't. If you like to win but think you can, it's almost a cinch you won't. If you think you will lose, you've already lost. For this powerful truth we find, success begins with a person's will. It's all a state of mind. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger woman or man, but sooner or later, those who win, those who first think and then know that they can. And Trey and I, we know you can, my friend. If you've been knocked down 10 times, get up 10 times, my friend, and get back in the fight, right? And by the way, I grew up in the turbulent 60s, and with all the racial tension and things I went through, I used to think that, and again, I know some people like, that's crazy, but I really thought that maybe if I wasn't black, I could be more successful. You know, because in school back then, they never taught us about the role of what our people did in positive light. All we knew was we were slaves. Like now, you know, of course, then I found out we were world rulers. They were, you know. Yeah. But back then, I heard a poem one day to help set me free. And it goes something like this. Fleecy locks and black complexion cannot forfeit nature's claim. Skin may differ, but affection dwells in black and white the same. Right so tall as reach the pole, on a glance at the ocean at a span, I must be measured by my soul. The mind is the standard of a man. And all of a sudden it dawned on me, Trey, that, you know, it's not based on the color of my skin or the texture of my hair where I grew up. It's based on what I put in here. As a matter of fact, like my book, Your Breakthrough is Guaranteed, that Les Brown wrote the forward for, I say what you put in your head that affects your heart determines what comes to your hand. And if you want more coming to your hand, and I'm sure you folks want more coming to your hand, don't you? Yes, well, you got to put more in your head that affects your heart. And so that's what we've committed our lives to do. And I'd love to coach or mentor you folks. I even got a website called theinternetmentor.com, THE, theinternetmentor.com. I've got a few free trainings there, and one is called the Daily Attitude Adjusters, helping me to get your mind in proper sync and so forth, because I think without a breakthrough mentality, nothing on earth can help you. With a breakthrough mentality, nothing on earth can stop you. Oh, come on.
Wait, say that again from me. Say that again from me, man.
Okay. Without a breakthrough mentality, nothing on earth can help you.
Okay.
With a breakthrough mentality, nothing on earth can stop you. See, we were created to be unstoppable.
Ultimate resource.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. As a matter of fact, I have one of the things I do. You heard of MMA?
Yes, sir.
Most people think that means mixed martial arts. It does, but in my world, it's mental martial arts. Okay. So I teach a course and a session called Mental Self-Defense, which is learning how to defend yourself against your greatest opponent, which is your subconscious or your undisciplined mind. So I say the breakthrough occurs when you beat the bullies in your brain. So when I talked about getting beaten and tarred and feathered, people think, man, that's terrible. Yeah, but it's just as terrible as what's going on in your brain. And for many years, I was getting bullied by my own brain, and the low esteem and the lack of confidence and all that kind of stuff, right? And second guessing myself and all that. And so you got to the breakthrough occurs when you beat the bullies on your brain. Yes. And I say your breakthrough comes faster when your mentor is a minister and a grandmaster. Come on now.
Let me ask you, what is one core habit that you have consistently done, something practical that has really contributed to you developing this incredible breakthrough mindset?
Thank you. Well, the main thing I would say is speaking positive words, okay. Right? So the greatest book ever written says, thou shalt decree a thing, it shall be established unto thee. So like, for instance, I did a podcast earlier today and the guy was asking me, what are some of my daily habits? Yeah. One of the things when I wake up, one of the things I do is I say, everything good that can happen will happen, and it will happen at the best possible time, even if I don't recognize it at that time.
Ooh, that part is good right there. That last part is good right there.
See, y'all heard of Murphy's Law, right? Yes, and so I used to live based on Murphy's Law. Everything bad that can happen will happen, the worst possible. And I was like, why am I living by Murphy's Law? I don't even like the guy, I don't like his law. If I'm living my life, let me make my own law up. So Dr. Breakthrough's Law, and I say it to myself, because the greatest book ever written says, faith cometh by hearing.
Which is the Bible.
The Bible. Faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word, right? And by the way, everybody's into, I'm getting off track here, but I'm going to come back.
Okay.
AI, artificial intelligence, and I'm leveraging it, by the way. But I'm more interested in BI, biblical intelligence, because God will give you witty inventions. Oh, come on, somebody. Ooh. And Ephesians 1, he's going to open up your understanding, your mind, right? So what I do is I speak, I activate, again, death and life and the power of the tongue, Proverbs 18:21. I say in 7:18, I, the Lord, create the fruit of the lips. So I say, so everything good that can happen will happen, and it will happen at the best possible time, even if I don't recognize it at that time, right? Because hindsight is always 20/20. So I say that. Here's another thing I say. I wake up and I say, thank you, Lord, that today and every day hereafter, you're increasingly giving me more wisdom, knowledge, and the wherewithal to empower those under my jurisdiction and beyond to experience breakthroughs that would please you, profit them, and cause my family and I to prosper, right? And so I believe these concepts come to me and these ideals come to me because I'm asking the Lord, I'm asking him to give me the wisdom and to give me the grace, right? And so I speak that. And then I do my daily attitude adjuster. You got a few moments for me to get a little bit of that, or what? Because this is how I program my mind to success, right? Yeah. The Bible says, Romans 12:2, be transformed. See, too many people are conformed, a few people are informed, but I want to be transformed. And we're transformed by the renewing of our minds, right? So I say this every day to myself. Wow, what a great day to be alive. I feel dynamite. I like me. I accept me. I love me. I'm going to have a super fantastic day today because I'm too blessed to be depressed. I'm too blessed to be stressed. I'm too glad to be sad. I'm too anointed to be disappointed. Too elated to be agitated. I'm too legit to quit. I'm too grounded to be confounded. Too grateful to be hateful. Too gifted to be restricted. Too good to be withstood. And too saved not to be getting paid. Come on, somebody.
Oh, my God.
Circumstances are aligning themselves in my favor. I'm healthy, physically fit, and intellectually equipped. I have wisdom far beyond my years. I'm an extraordinary person with incredible abilities I will use to add value to others' lives. Because I know that as I help others reach their dreams, I will automatically reach my own. I anticipate meeting the person or group of people today who are willing to use their power, wealth, and influence to help me achieve my dreams. All day long, people will go out of their way to bless me. Today, I will add great value to someone's life, and hopefully I'm doing that for you. I will show compassion to those in need. I will give strength to the weak and inspiration to the weary. Someone needs what I have to offer, and I gladly make myself available. I embrace abundance, and I hug myself. And it embraces me. I'm abundant in every good way. I am an abundance magnet. I like money. It likes me. It's attracted to me. And it comes abundantly from many sources. I use my money wisely because it's a tool to help those in need. And it's also a way of keeping score of how many people's lives I added value to. Money flows freely and frequently from expected and unexpected sources in exchange for the value that I consistently bring to the marketplace. I may have been broke, busted, and disgusted, but now I declare I am rich, growing, and overflowing. My business is booming, checks are zooming, I'm happy on purpose. And then I conclude by saying, I'm the leader that multitudes of people are looking for. So I choose to succeed today and every day hereafter. Watch out, world, here I come. Man, when I say that, I'm fired up.
Every day.
Every day. Now, one day I had to say it 2 times to myself. It was a rough day that day, right? Oh my goodness. So anyway, but that's what I do. So the one thing I would say is learning to see. I used to speak all this stuff. I'm not, and you're not this, and I'm not good, and I'm not that.
Focusing on what you don't have.
But not only that, I'm hearing myself. So I always tell people, look, when it comes to your problems or things, look, don't curse it, don't nurse it, don't rehearse it. Give it to God so he can reverse it. Oh, come on, somebody. Did they get that one? Right?
They got that.
So you got to learn to speak what you want. Don't speak what you see. You got to speak what you want. Muhammad Ali said something that's so powerful. Now, Trey, most people heard the first part. That's not the powerful part. It's the other part. The first part he said is, I said I'm the greatest. People, you heard that. Here's the powerful part people miss. He said, I said I was the greatest a long time before I ever believed it. Wait. He said, I said. Don't you think he felt a little stupid, a little silly at first? Of course. But he said, I said I was the greatest a long time before I ever believed it. Now, a long time, is that 2 months? Is that 2 years? I don't know. But he figured out one thing. If he said it long enough and loud enough, he'd hear himself and start believing it. When you start believing it, you start acting on it. And by the way, when you're fighting the greatest, how do you fight? Like, I'm about to get beat, right? So he beats a guy, and all of a sudden his mind says, see, I said I was the greatest. This is confirmation, right? And so you got to learn to say what you want. I started saying, people pay me large sums of money to have me come and speak. And when I speak, people's lives are changed and transformed. And it started happening. I started saying years ago, I'm my favorite speaker. Now, I know that seems kind of arrogant to some people. I'm one of my favorite speakers. Yeah. And now all my children at one time individually have come to me and said, Dad, you're my favorite speaker. My wife, you're my favorite speaker. See, you got to learn to declare some things and say some things. And I'm telling you, that one thing alone, if you could just start speaking to yourself.
And stick with it.
Yeah. And that was a long answer. I apologize.
No, you've given me so much.
Awesome.
I really appreciate your time. Dr. Stan, Dr. Breakthrough. I could never forget you. And one thing I noticed is you, not only do you accept yourself in such a way, the way you move, it's like you're subtle and in control, but once you engage in something, you're fully active. And I could almost sense that as a martial artist. I'm like, oh, okay. You fully, because when you go engage in that battle or a conversation, you bring all of yourself there.
Ecclesiastes 9:10. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. Right? So give it all.
Yeah.
By the way, my wife, I call her my ABCD. She said, what's an ABCD? Adorable, brown, caramel delight. Oh, come on, somebody. So we at the restaurant the other day, guys said, would you like some dessert? I said, no, sir. I pointed to my wife. I said, I bought my dessert with me, 100% natural. But one of the things that she taught me when we got married, when you're talking about entrepreneurship, and I call it Kingdompreneur.
Okay.
She said, baby, we don't ever want to spend money.
Mm-hmm.
She said, we only want to circulate money. Now, I'm thinking, wow, I'm married to a beautiful woman. She don't want to spend money. She said, circle. I said, that sounds good, but what does that mean? Her answer changed my whole perspective. She said, baby, when you spend money, it's gone, never to return. She said, but when you circulate money, money goes out, but it comes back. A never-ending cycle of increase and enjoyment. I said, from now on, we're going to look for ways that we can circulate our money, the money that God allows us to be stewards over. And that changed my whole perspective because, see, God, the master creator, made you and I mini creators. Yeah. He gave us a mandate to create, but the world has dummied us down to just be consumers. Yeah. And that's why I love, again, entrepreneurship, but I call it Kingdompreneur. And a Kingdompreneur is one who allows God to provide through them a product or service to people for profit with pleasure to promote the kingdom while honoring the King of Kings. See, if you provide a product or service to people and there's no profit, I'm gonna give you 4 M's. You're a missionary. Okay. And I tell people, nothing wrong with being a missionary. I support missionaries. But too many Christian people think they're in business, but you need support from other people. So no, you're a missionary.
Yeah.
So to provide a product or service to people and there's no profit, the first M, you're a missionary. The second M, you provide a product or service to people for profit, but there's no pleasure, you're miserable. And the Bible says the blessing of the Lord, Proverbs 10:22, maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow with it. So so he doesn't want us to be miserable, right? The joy of the Lord is our strength. And so here's the thing. So we don't want that. But then when you provide a product or service to people for profit with pleasure, eventually the third M, you'll be a millionaire. Proverbs 28:20, a faithful man shall abound with blessings, right? But this fourth M is what I'm after as a kingdompreneur, when I allow God to provide through me a product or service to people for profit with pleasure to promote the kingdom while honoring the King of Kings. Now the fourth M, I manifest all that he has for me: health, wealth, influence. Ecclesiastes 2:26 says, for God giveth to a man that is good in his sight both wisdom and knowledge and joy, but to the sinner he giveth travail to gather, to heap up. Why? That he may give to him that is good before God. Proverbs 22:4, with humility and fear of the Lord are riches, honor, and life. See, some folk have riches, but they have no honor. Some folks have honor, but have no life. Some have honor, but have no. God says, he said, I'm a good businessman. Bring me 2 things, and I'll give you 3. So with humility and fear of the Lord are riches and honor and life. And so that's how I start my day, acknowledging him, asking him to empower me, asking him to lead me, and he leads me to business deals and concepts and so forth. And I think my prayer also led you and I to meet today, because like I said, I was blessed to lead Myron to Christ many moons of 45 years ago. And he called and said, man, I'm gonna be speaking in your area. I said, okay, man, I'll be over there, and was able to connect. I think you and I connected, right? And so,
make it cycle continue.
So go to the internetmentor.com, get that free course on the attitude adjuster, your daily attitude adjuster. Hey, and I'd love to speak for your group or your Zoom or whatever you do. Give me a shout at 717 area code 275-3508. And again, 717-275-3508. A funny story, Trey. A lady called me today and answered. She said, no. I said, excuse me. She said, I didn't want you to answer. She said, I got a friend that was discouraged. I said, if you just hear this man's voicemail, it'll make your day. So she said, we're going to call back. I'm asking you, don't answer so we can hear your voice message. So now I just tell people, hey, just call 717-275-3508. You'll get a 3-minute breakthrough message. I promise it'll make your day.
I'm gonna need that one day. Thank you so much. You're a very rich man, brother.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah. And I like to say, if you can spot it, it's because you got it. Ooh, come on now.
Let's go.
There we go. Dr. Stan Harris brought the gems, brought the energy. Check the description box below to connect with Dr. Stan Harris. All links and resources mentioned in the video can be found there. Just make sure you check out the next recommended video for you. Or if you haven't seen Myron Golden's full interview, it's right there. Check it out. God bless you, and remember, you can break through anything you put your mind to.